Welcome everyone. Today I'm here with Dr. Raisa Abubakar, who is a homeopath who specializes in weight loss and aesthetics. And today we've teamed up together to discuss a topic that so many women struggle with, but honestly it's not very well understood, especially in terms of the underlying causes and the treatment protocols. This topic is acne. So many adult women are plagued by acne. It's hard enough to have it as a teenager, but to have it when you're a professional, a mother, it can be very disconcerting. So today we're hoping we can shed more light on it for you regarding both the physical and the emotional aspects and how they come together. Dr. Raisa, I find often that when people have breakouts, and I'm also guilty of this, we tend to think of upping our skincare game. So we think, okay, let me just have a nice facial, let me change my skincare products. And although this can help a little bit, it doesn't really sort out the underlying issue.
It doesn't. So we like to look at the different aspects of acne, and most of all we like to treat the cause of acne. So in any patient that has any form of acne, and no matter how severe or how mild it could be, the underlying issue is that there's an imbalance in the androgens or the male hormones that causes the follicle or the pore to become blocked and then develop into a pimple. So changing your skincare routine can help dry out your skin a bit if it's too oily or provide moisture and hydration, but you're not really treating why those pimples are erupting all the time. And you're not treating the fact that they could recur even though you come off the skincare or change your routine. So we'd like to treat what's actually causing the acne instead of just going with topical symptoms. So serums are great to use, but again, we must treat the underlying factor.
In your opinion, Dr. Baker, what kind of common issues do you see with people who are suffering with acne?
Okay, so with acne, we have such a wide variety of patients. We have people that are young, that are old, males, females, teenagers, ladies in their 40s who are developing hormonal acne. And we find that no matter what the patient presents with, if we look deeper into their eating habits, if we look deeper into their menstrual cycles, if we look at their physical being, the way they function, the environment that they're in, we can put all of this together and decide on a treatment method. So currently, the best treatment method we can offer our patient is to treat the cause of acne together with the accompanying symptoms. So the cause being the androgen imbalance, let's balance the androgens, and then also at the same time purify that pore, get rid of the bacteria that's in there and allow the accumulation of dead skin cells, of makeup, of old skincare products, your sunblock, to come out of that follicle properly in the correct manner so that it doesn't become blocked and then turn into a pimple.
So what you're really saying is that it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's a very customized approach to treating acne.
So if a patient presents with cystic acne, as opposed to somebody who just has pustules and papules on their skin, their treatment would be more aggressive in the cystic acne because there's more chance of long-term scarring. So if you look at the scarring that develops with cystic acne, you will have patients that will present with ice pick scarring, and somebody else might have hyperpigmented scars, so spots and marks on the skin. So their treatment method might alter or be slightly different in the fact that one may need something to repair or heal the skin while treating acne, and the other patient may not need that. So we have to look at the individual case. We also like to look at the patient's constitution, their overall state of health. We take into account, has the acne flared up at a particular time during the month? Is it flaring up after a particular meal? Is it when the patient is having too much of junk food? Or is it there no matter how healthy this patient could be? And what is the underlying factor from there?
Okay, you mentioned junk food. How much of a role does nutrition play in treating and managing acne?
I think a big part of acne that is not really spoken about is we talk a lot about the hormones and how these hormones are imbalanced, and that's why a patient is developing acne. But why do these hormones become imbalanced? So in every patient that has an underlying health condition, especially females, things like polycystic ovarian syndrome, we look at how does sugar in their diet affect the insulin levels. So when they have too much of carbohydrates or too many high sugar foods in the diet, that elevates their insulin levels. In turn, the insulin being imbalanced then causes an imbalance in the male and female hormones, producing acne. So the root cause of this actually is a lot to do with what the patient eats, but it's not so much so as saying it's a fried food or it's a high sugar food and that's why you got a pimple. There's a process. The insulin elevates, from there the androgens become imbalanced, and that is when the acne develops.
Okay, so we wanted to look at some of the emotional aspects of it. What role does emotional eating play in all of this?
Emotional eating is such a huge part of, besides acne management, but of a patient's weight management. So we find that when a lot of people are stressed, they're looking for something sweet. And this comes from, it actually stems from when you were really young and you were upset or you wanted something and your parents said to you, hey, if you behave well, I'll give you a sweet. So we associate good feelings or happy feelings with reward, and that reward is associated with sugary or high carb foods. So if you are having these high carb foods, or if you're having a lot of stress in your life and you're tending to lean towards emotional eating, again, then you're pushing up the insulin levels and then imbalancing those androgens. So look, emotional eating can be treated psychologically, it can be treated physically. We can help your body through those stressful times, and that is why we have things like BodyTalk. So I think understanding it is a lot more than just saying don't eat junk food. Sometimes you can't not eat junk food, you're craving it and your body wants it because it wants that comfort. So emotional eating and the aspect of acne, there is a very big, I would say 50% of our patients actually have this issue where they can't control the cravings for carbohydrates and sugar. And that is what's aggravating the acne or aggravating the imbalance in androgens.
I completely agree with that, because so many people think that they just have poor willpower discipline, not realizing the role that emotions play in driving that behavior and driving those cravings.
And it's important to understand that a lot of times we look at patients and we say, are you stressed? And they'll say, yes, they're stressed. But then what from there? So sometimes you can't really take away a person's stress, but you can help them to cope with the stress better, to manage it better. Both physically and psychologically. I think that's really important, is that we tend to think of ourselves as just robots and from a day to day. We push the emotions behind us, or we bottle them up, and then one day they are going to explode.
I 100% agree, because as Dr. Baker is saying, emotions play a huge role in our stress, and that stress then can cause certain imbalances and upsets in our body, which then can end up leading to something like that shows up as a symptom of acne, but there's really something, there's a bigger picture going on there. And I love that you mentioned that we just kind of push through and we repress and we go on. The truth is, repressing it is not doing us any favors. In fact, it's making the situation worse. So rather than suppressing it, we need to start finding ways of developing emotional resilience, of developing our emotional intelligence. And the only way to do this is to really start engaging with our emotions, and to maybe engage the help of a facilitator. Things like BodyTalk, NLP life coaching, any modality that works with subconscious elements, because our emotions come from that subconscious mind. Our stress triggers come from the subconscious mind. So when you're working within the subconscious mind, you can start working with some of these emotional aspects and work towards release, so that your overall stress levels can start decreasing. Because as you said, we can't take the stress away, but we can change your perspective and help you manage it better and manage the emotions around it better. That's going to impact on your physical health.
A lot of the time you expect, if we're talking about emotions, and if we have a patient in front of us and you ask the patient, how are they managing with their day-to-day work? Are they very stressed? And they for a minute won't say anything, and you just see the tears well up in their eyes. And that one visit can change a person emotionally. And the next time they come and see you, I'm sure you see this all the time, they can speak more about it. And if you can't speak about it, then get in touch with somebody who can help you reach those inner emotions without verbally bringing out all of the baggage that's there. People are different. We have to understand that, if it doesn't show up physically or emotionally, doesn't come out, you will see it on a patient's skin. You can see when someone's stressed. And the stress hormones play a big role in acne as well. We look at cortisol levels over a long period of time. Those can in turn imbalance insulin and imbalance your male and female hormones, aggravating acne. So it's not just one particular thing or one particular hormone. Your body is an entire being. It needs to be treated that way. And I think when we talk about the treatment for acne, it would make sense to treat it both from the inside, from the outside, and from within the skin. So 3 ways in total.
Definitely. So it's a holistic perspective of working with the physical aspects of it, and also making sure that you're dealing with the emotional aspects, so that your stress levels can come down and there can be long-term healing rather than just short-term symptomatic relief. And Dr. Baker, I so agree. It's about the cognizance and the awareness of the impact that your emotions are having on you. So when you have that one consult and suddenly the light bulb goes on in that patient's mind of, oh, okay, these are the things that are actually exacerbating and maybe even causing the condition, they can start taking it seriously instead of just pushing it aside and soldiering on.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's where the topic of treating acne comes in. You don't just come to reception or go into a spa or go into a pharmacy and choose a product for yourself. It needs to be something that's tailor-made for your skin type. How many people think that acne is related to oily skin, and then how many of our patients actually have very dehydrated skin and suffering from acne? So putting them on a product that's going to dry out their skin even more is probably not going to help. It's just going to aggravate it. So I think that acne needs to be treated from within the body, orally, taking a supplement, from within the skin by doing a treatment or taking off layers of the skin, so you're removing the impurities, and then topically with good home care. And like I said, not one particular set of home care for the whole world, it could be different. So have your product matched to your skin type, and that way you'll have the best results. And take into consideration that there is a huge emotional aspect, whether it's just that you're stressed, or you're a stress eater, or you just eat terribly, or you could be eating absolutely perfectly on par but still having health conditions. And we see that in so many patients who come here for other reasons, maybe weight loss, maybe skincare. We see that there is always something underlying that's causing the patient to not be successful in their weight loss or their skin routine. So we see them eating perfect diets, healthy, no carbohydrates, and still having lots of vegetables, but still showing up on their skin. So we have to look at the other side, and the other side is the emotional aspect.
So clearly treating that emotional aspect and managing your stress better, because a lot of your stress comes from your emotions, is actually critical to treating acne in the long term.
The holistic way of treating is something that is becoming more and more known about. It's becoming more the treatment option of choice. And this doesn't have to be done by anyone in particular. You find someone that you're comfortable with and discuss all the aspects of your life with them. And that's how you have a holistic consult. And that is where you'll find your success in your treatment lies in treating your body as a whole, and not just your hand as your hand or your face as your face. Treat the entire system as one. For example, why do females suffer with premenstrual breakouts? It's not the skin is separate from the rest of the body. It's one being, so we should treat those two together.
I love that, because it's about having so much more awareness of what is going on within us internally on an emotional level and how that's showing up externally. So it's all one connected unit. You touched on skincare quite a bit, and I know sometimes when people are suffering with acne, they're kind of going through Instagram, seeing these people who are touting these miracle products. This is the thing that's going to cure your skin. What do you have to say about that, Dr. Baker?
As much as it's somebody's income or method of making their living, and it wouldn't be nice to say that these products are all bad. Some of them do work, but if a product's going to work for you, if the person hasn't actually seen your skin, you haven't touched the patient's skin, and then applying a product that is just suitable for anyone. If you use a product, doesn't mean it's going to work for me. Our skin types are totally different. So be wary about what you're buying from online stores, and especially if it's Instagram and Facebook, because you don't know what products have been put into that jar. And recently, in the last 5 years or so, in South Africa, there's been a lot of imports of skincare that is said to help with acne and help with blemishes and acne scars, that contains a lot of mercury, hydroquinone, and other illegal substances. And we find the patient using it for in the initial period, the skin looks good, it looks well. But then after a few weeks, we notice the skin becomes very dark, it becomes hyperpigmented, the eruptions just start all over again. And this is because of a product that's not safe. So rather not, or maybe consult your doctor, find out if the product would be suitable for you. Unless it has a proper label and ingredients, then stay away from it. If it's something that you're just finding that it has lots of reviews and the jar just has a sticker on it, I would be very wary.
Dr. Baker, another thing that we commonly hear about is that makeup might cause breakouts. How much of truth is there to this?
There's actually very little truth in that, because if you're cleansing your skin well before every morning and every evening, then you are removing impurities from the skin. But if your skin is being clogged by the makeup, that's not how the normal physiology of the body works. You were naturally made to produce sebum within that sebaceous gland up into the pore, the follicle, and that is supposed to push out the impurities that are in your skin. But if you have that underlying imbalance, then you're unable to do that, and that is when makeup gets clogged or blocked or stuck into the skin. So again, you have to treat it orally, prevent your body from having that imbalance that's stopping the sebum production or increasing the sebum production at the wrong rate, and then further to that, developing into that blocked pore where bacteria can proliferate. So as long as you use a good cleanser morning and evening, you can wear makeup every day and still have really good skin. The aim at the end of the day for most patients is to try and be makeup free, to use it for those special occasions to enhance your beauty. So I think, there's no real issue with makeup. It's just that you need to make sure your skin is not acne prone, and let us treat that so that you can wear it freely.
So once again, if the skin is healthy, it should be able
to
be
a problem
tolerate the makeup quite well.
You can wear makeup every day as long as you cleanse it off morning.
So Dr. Baker, on the topic of makeup, what role do you think the quality of makeup plays in whether or not it irritates the skin?
It's actually a very important question, because makeup nowadays, you can get things that are made in China, you can get good brands, and people are not sure what exactly to buy. And a lot of these poor or cheap quality makeup products have, or especially the fake brands, the counterfeit brands that you get out there, have a lot of lead and mercury in them. So when you apply them to your skin, yes, it makes your skin look good for that time, but continued use will actually result in hyperpigmentation. And you see this a lot on the patient's lips as well. They become very dark without any lipstick on, or they develop deeper freckles, more coalesced pigmentation. And therefore, we suggest if you're going to use makeup, you need to use a good quality, a reputable brand, and make sure that you're not purchasing something over Instagram that seems like a bargain and it's actually just a counterfeit product. So beware. Also, you do nowadays get very organic or mineral based makeup, so have your makeup match to your skin. This can even be done by a makeup artist. You don't need a professional to match makeup to your skin. A good makeup artist will be able to tell you which is a good product for you to use. I mean, they use it every day, so they are the professionals.
So you mentioned the lead and mercury, and aren't these also known as hormone disruptors, which just further exacerbate hormonal imbalances?
Yes, and I think absorption through the skin is so important. If we are now absorbing minerals like mercury and lead via the skin, not only are they topically affecting us, but they're going to affect our adrenal glands, they're going to affect our endocrine organs. You can have issues with the thyroid gland as well. So it's very important to make sure that your products, whether it's skincare or makeup, are good quality and not just something that's roughly made up in a factory in God knows where.
Yeah, so clearly there's far-reaching impacts to it, not just on the skin.
And there's so much of research available out there, so just do your research before you purchase a product. Ask people around you. I'm sure if your healthcare professional cares about you, they're going to answer your questions. So I'm sure they do. So please ask, and then the help will come.
So rather save up and build your budget up so you can get good quality products.
Yeah, and you don't also have to use 5 different products on your skin. You can use a cleanser, a day cream, and a sunblock. If you have problem skin, then use a cleanser, a serum, a day cream, and a sunblock. That's 4 things. Nowadays, you also get products that say it's a mask, it's a scrub, there's so many items that you need to purchase. So start minimal, you can. If you can afford to go the whole way, then why not? But if you can't afford, then let's go with minimal skincare for the best results. The best way to do that is to invest in a good serum. So serums generally treat the problems, they're problem solvers, whereas your day cream is more just hydrating your skin. Sunblocks are there to protect you. The first rule of skincare is to use a sunblock. For me, that is the first rule. If you have pigmentation and you come to us, or hyperpigmenting acne scars, the first rule is before you buy anything else, you purchase your sunblock.
So basically, get a customized approach to it. Make sure that you're sorting out any underlying issues, your nutrition is in place, and then you're choosing products that just kind of support the whole system.
We want your body to be well. We don't want just to help you have good skin. We want you to look good and feel good at the same time.
Definitely.
And I think that's a lot to do with acne, is how it impacts on your confidence levels. So if we can boost your confidence, both emotionally, physically, get you to feel better, feel stronger, more energetic, your skin will have the radiance and glow.
I love that you spoke about the self-confidence, because that's something that really takes a blow when you start to have breakouts. Your self-confidence suffers. And I wanted to actually touch on that a little bit in terms of making sure that you are developing your emotional resilience enough that you're forming a self-concept, you're forming a self-worth that goes beyond external things like how you look, how much money you make, and so on. So it's really important, again, when you're working with a facilitator, if you're doing BodyTalk or life coaching or anything like that, to make sure that you're working on some of these aspects of making sure that your self-worth is grounded within yourself and not dependent on all of these external things, because that's going to make it very difficult for you to move forward. Dr. Baker, you gave us a lot of insights into how to treat and manage the symptoms of acne. If somebody out there right now is struggling with acne, what would you say is the protocol they should follow in terms of getting help?
The first thing that this patient needs to do if they have acne is have their skin analyzed, and at the same time have a full patient workup done. So we look at whether you have physical symptoms of hormonal imbalances. We may request blood tests, we may not. And then from there we will develop a treatment plan for you. The treatment plan will include whether you need to take oral supplements or alternate medicine, and then whether you need to have a skin treatment done. So variety, maybe a chemical peel or a herbal peel, or maybe some other treatment. And then lastly is choosing the skincare. So first, balance what's going on with the body internally, then from within the skin, and then from on top of the skin.
Right, and while you're doing that, also working with the emotional.
Yes, definitely. You have to that will go into the full patient workup. Is when you need to, well, we'll discuss the emotions. You will discuss with them how to manage their stress better, or maybe even bringing out the emotions. But that is the first step, is to have the patient analyzed from mentally and emotionally, as well all the way through to physically.
Well, I hope that you guys found this information helpful. If you did, please remember to share this video with someone who you think might benefit from the information. If you have any questions for myself or Dr. Baker, please feel free to pop a comment below and we'll be sure to try and answer them, or you can contact us on social media. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.